Before you donate that men's shirt, let me show you 3 simple ways to alter and upcycle it so it actually gets worn. Hi, I'm Bex. I run sewing classes, clothes upcycling and clothing sustainability workshops here in Sydney. Today I'm continuing my How to Alter and Upcycle Clothes series. In this video, I'm going to cover 3 simple, practical options for altering and changing men's shirts. There are so many possibilities and I'll be sharing more ideas in upcoming videos. Let's get started and let's keep great clothes out of landfill. So the first shirt that I'm going to talk about is this one here, which is a slim fit. It's an extra large, but obviously way too big for me. But it's got a great cotton blend. It does have some polyester in it, but the great thing about men's shirts is that they are really cool to wear. They press really nicely, so they always look quite classic. The difference with men's shirts and women's clothing is that men's shirts don't have any shape to them. So this is pretty much, it's a slim fit, but it's pretty much straight up and down, as you can see. But because it's a lovely cotton blend, it's easy to sew and it's easy to tailor. So probably the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously take it in. So I'll do quite significant taking in. I might even, depending what happens after I take it in, you'll see that it's quite wide across here. So I might add some darts in the back there to give it some shape, give it some female shape. And then I'll see how that looks first. Obviously, I'm going to take it up because even if I were to keep the length of this, it would be way too long for me and it would kind of be quite unflattering. Then the other issue that you have is that the shoulders are going to be wider than my shoulders. I'm about a size 8 to 10. So these are going to be quite wide. Now, I've upcycled this top, this shirt. It was a men's shirt. I've left the shoulders wide because I wanted it to sort of be a looser fitting top. But after I finish with this, I'll explain what I did to this because I'm going to do something different with this one than I did with this, but I will explain what I did with this one. Then another thing is that it's got these really dark buttons. I did change the buttons on this one and I'll probably change the buttons on this because I think the buttons are a little bit too heavy. What seems to happen with clothing now, because it's so mass produced, is that they'll just use a standard button, the same button, no matter what the color is. And that's the difference between something that's made by, say, a design house and just something that you can buy off the rack that's been mass produced. They'll use the same kind of buttons. They won't change the buttons for the pattern. Anyway, I'm going to go off now and I'm going to alter this and then I'll come back and then I'll explain to you exactly what I did. So stay tuned. So what I did was, it had panels at the side down here. They were sort of like a contrasting panel at the side. I took those out and then I sewed new side seams. I actually, in sewing those new side seams, I actually took in, because you'll see now it's fitting me in the shoulders, I was able to then cut the shoulders down. So the shoulders probably would have been out about here. So when I took those side seams in, I could bring in the shoulders as well. Then obviously I'd cut the sleeves off before doing that. And then I also took the sleeves in because the sleeves were quite voluminous and then didn't fit into the new sleeve section. So now they fit quite nicely. So now they're nicely fitting into this area here. Then I took it up and at the back I left the rounded back but put a slit in it just to make it a little bit more feminine. I kept the black buttons and then I added a black button to the back. I'm not sure if you can see that. Added a black button just to maintain a bit of consistency there. It can be tucked in if I wanted it to tuck it in. I left the length enough, but I kind of like it out actually. Then I drastically shortened the sleeve, sewed a channel, and then put in an elastic in there. Because I like that, I like to bring my sleeve up and I like it to stay up. And then finally at the back, I extended, there were already 2 seams at the back, and I extended those further up just to take this back section in, because again, it was wider than my female form. So then by extending those darts up, after I took this panel out, it fit quite nicely, these 2 panels at the side. It fit quite nicely, but the top was still quite big. So just by extending the existing seams that were there, sort of darts, then extending those up, and then that took all the extra off. All up, this probably took me 2 hours to do. I mean, I was, sort of watching a movie at the same time, stopped for a couple of cups of tea. So what I love about upcycling is, and I mean, I've been sewing for, I don't know, 30 years or something like that, more, and upcycling for the same amount of time, is that the majority of the work's already done in the construction of the garment. So when you upcycle something or alter it or change it or tailor it, it takes only a fraction of the time. For me to create a shirt like this, easy would have taken me, at least a whole day, if not longer. So within 2 hours, I mean, I'm pretty sure I got this secondhand. I don't buy any new clothes except for undergarments. I got this secondhand, maybe $5. I wouldn't have spent more than $5 for it. And now I've got a really unique top. It's unlikely anyone will have anything like this. Specifically. So I've got a unique top for $5 and a little bit of work, 2 hours work, instead of creating something myself and buying new fabric. So hopefully this has inspired you. Before we move on to the next project, if you enjoy videos like this and want more practical tips on altering and upcycling clothes, consider subscribing so my next video shows up automatically in your feed. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to explain what I did with this men's shirt, this transformation of this men's shirt. It's a size 43-44, it's a Gazman, means nothing to me. But I would imagine it's probably quite mass produced. I'm not too sure. It's made in China. It's a really lovely, I would say this is 100% cotton. I checked and I've actually cut the tag off because, to start with, what I did was I heavily took in the side seams. And you can see here that I've got a new seam here. So I've heavily taken in those side seams. I'll actually put a picture up of what this looked like before, so you can see what it looked like and how big it was. Then what I've done is I've reduced the bottom. So I've sewn a new hem at the bottom, so I cut quite a lot off. And I know with the excess of this, I actually made some little makeup purses and gave them as gifts to my mates. So there was so much fabric left over, and because I waste nothing, it all got repurposed. As I mentioned previously, I did change the buttons. I had these gorgeous, they kind of look like a cat's eye, a blue cat's eye. These blue cat's eye buttons. What I actually get, because I run my upcycling and sewing workshops, a lot of people kindly donate things to me. They were actually donated by a lovely lady who used to be a seamstress, a local seamstress, and unfortunately she got too old and retired and would never have used all of these bits and pieces that she'd acquired over decades and decades. So her son donated them all to me, and they're now being shared with oh, so many people that come to my sewing classes and upcycling workshops. So whatever I can do to keep things out of landfill, it's my mission in life. Now, back to the shirt. You can see here that I've actually turned over the collar sort of to make it more like a stand up, I might call that a mandarin collar, just because I found the men's collar was just a bit too heavy for me. So I've just simply turned it over, I've cut it off, and I've just done a double stitch there, and it sits really nicely. Then what I've done is cut the sleeves off. As I said before, I didn't change the shoulder of this. I kept the shoulder because I wanted kind of like it to tuck in and be a bit of a relaxed fit. So I kept the shoulder width, but I cut off obviously the sleeves, and then I just put a little elastic in there. So I sewed a channel and put some elastic in there. And what that does is it gives me a nice puffy kind of shoulder. And I have seen stylists say that when you have a bigger sort of shoulder, it makes your arms look thinner. So I'll live by that. And then at the back, I did put some darts in the back just to take some of that volume out. And that's pretty much it. You can see it's still quite a bit square. I probably could have come in even more. I just didn't want to, because again, I wanted to be able to tuck it in and have more of a relaxed fit. This is a really classic shirt. I mean, I've had it for quite a while now, and I just pull it out all the time. It's timeless. It always seems to look great. I'm always really happy in it. So that's that. If you've got any questions, put it in the comments below. I'm based in Sydney, but if you can't attend one of my face-to-face workshops, I also run online sessions via Zoom with clients around the world. You get 1 hour one-on-one with me where I give personalized advice on how to alter and upcycle clothes that don't quite fit or don't feel right anymore. So have a rummage through your wardrobe, even that bag of clothes you've been meaning to donate, and book an online session with me. Go to secondlifeupcycling.com for info. For this last project, I wanted to quickly highlight that men's shirts can also be made into dresses. Depending on your height, an extra large men's shirt can be long enough for a dress. Because men's shirts are relatively easy to tailor, as long as you've got the length, you can adjust the rest to fit how you'd like. This extra large men's shirt was a perfect length for me, so all I had to do was take in the width and reduce the sleeve length. I specifically designed it to be worn during the cooler months with tights and boots, and dyed it a dark purple colour to give it an autumn vibe. I dye a lot of clothes, and men's cotton shirts dye really well. To make it look less like a men's shirt, I added a tie around the neck in a complementary purple pattern. So give it a try. Thanks so much for watching. If you've got a men's shirt or any other garment that you'd like some alteration or upcycling inspiration for, let me know in the comments and I'll add it to my list for future videos. You might see Wiley in the corner. And if you'd like me to make more videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps and encourages me to create more content like this. See you next time.